Okay, welcome back into Rock Hard Music News. And we'll see what we got going on as of 6/12/2024. First up here, Judas Priest announces a fall 2024 tour. Let's see. Leg 2 of their Invincible Shield tour with special guest Sabaton. The all-time greats will take over the market in North America this fall with an additional 23 performances. So we're looking here. You can see the dates yourself. Montreal, Niagara Falls, Ontario, Sterling Heights, Michigan, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Rochester, Minnesota, Omaha, Nebraska, Rockford, Illinois, Louisville, Kentucky, Independence, Missouri, Billings, Montana, Idaho Falls, Idaho, Spokane, Washington, Everett, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Sacramento, California, Reno, Nevada, Los Angeles, California, Las Vegas, Nevada, Phoenix, Arizona, Loveland, Colorado, Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, and Irving, Texas. So there we go. If you're looking forward to seeing a Judas Priest show, there are some more dates. Okay, we got Black Veil Brides, Andy Biersack, on releasing full-length albums. I think it's a case-by-case thing. This seems to be more and more prevalent with bands just kind of doing the singles routine, right? And really, who can blame them with album sales being what they are nowadays? Let's see. During an appearance on the Mistress Carrie podcast, Andy, who was promoting the band's upcoming Bleeders EP, spoke about the importance of still rehearsing or releasing full-length albums instead of focusing exclusively on singles, he said. I think it's a case-by-case thing. Ultimately, we will have a full-length record. The way in which that gets released, I don't know if it's going to be the same traditional way. It might be. I think it really depends on what you're trying to do. He said, for me, if we're trying to record, if we're doing a record that's all one concept, like 2021's Phantom Tomorrow, it really behooves you to release it as an album because the listening experience is meant to be that way. And that's you know, it is going to be a case-by-case thing, but even the bands, you know, like Winger and Extreme and even, you know, newer bands like Smoking Snakes and stuff that I've been following, they do release an album, but there's like every couple weeks to maybe a month, there's another single and video released because just trying to rely on the market and people buying new music as an album is not what it used to be. So, you know, it is what it is. Ted Nugent explains his exclusion from best guitarist lists. Okay. And again, these lists I'm not a big fan of because it's all subjective, right? It's all just depending on what they're going for as far as criteria, right? But if it's like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and stuff, it's all, you know, political and popular contest and whose back you've scratched and whatever in the industry. But legendary conservative rocker Nugent was asked about his exclusion from various lists of the best guitarists of all time. He said, let's examine that for a minute. Let's talk about the guitar player list, where an interviewer a couple years ago said, well, Ted, you have seen in Rolling Stone guitar player list. I said, no, I haven't seen that. He said, well, Joan Jett's on there, but you're not. And that pretty much says all you need to know. And I said in my response, I said, I love Joan. I love Joan Jett. She's the real McCoy. If you want a shit kicker garage band, especially by a lesbian, that's the ultimate. I said, I love Joan Jett. And then around the world, everybody said Nugent spews hate for Joan Jett. See how they take it the way they focus on the word lesbian as he was dogging, and he wasn't. I mean, he's just saying, yeah, whatever. How about this? He said, and when I recommended to the interviewer who should be on the list, I never mentioned me. I said Derek St. Holmes should be on there. Jim McCarty should be on there. Dave Amato should be on there. Ricky Madlock should be on there. Mark Furrow. Okay, and these Rick Emmett of Triumph. Mentioned all these unbelievable guitarists, but I never mentioned myself. And everybody goes, Nugent's ego. He thinks about just him. I never even fucking mentioned me. You know, I'm not going to go through this too much here. Let's see. He said, what about this? He said, so when they do the Access TV rankings of top bands of the 70s, I was number one grossing band in the world, 77, 78, and 79. They've never even mentioned that I exist. And these are not sour grapes. This means absolutely nothing to me personally, but it's dishonest. And when they do a review of the incredible Meatloaf, they mention his career, but not where it started on Nugent's 76 Free-For-All album, which featured guest appearance by Meatloaf. So are you fucking kidding me? And then Howard Stern will say, Nugent was just jealous of Eddie Van Halen. He was pissed off and tried to turn the PAs down. He said, just the opposite. I've raved about Eddie Van Halen. We jammed together. And when we got out of rehab, or when he got out of rehab, I was the first person he called and thanked me for pushing him to get clean and sober. You see how the media does this crap? It's not just in politics. It's in music as well. They just like to make someone a villain. And right now, Uncle Ted is on top of that villain list along with Kid Rock because they happen to be on the wrong side of the aisle politically for these talking heads taste. So they get lied about and basically swept under the carpet. So any greatest guitar player list of all time has to have Uncle Ted on it, right? I mean, it is what it is. I don't put much stock in any of these industry lists or organizations, all of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because it's all just bullshit. Okay, Carcasses, Jeff Walker and Bill Steer praise guitarist James Nip Blackford. He just fits in with us. I really don't know nothing about Carcass or any of those three people, but okay. Deep Purple's Roger Glover. I don't like Fame. It's amazing to me how many of these people say that. But then they do a little self-reflection and think, what would I have been? Where would I be had I not chose this path to be rich and famous? I mean, it seems like the older some of these musicians get, and I can't even imagine how bad it's got to be, right, to where everybody's writing about you, everybody's trying to talk to you and bugging you and everything. But, for the money, and even if you're not, in the camp of, financial success as some of the big top dogs over the years, fame gets you a lot, right? It gets you a lot of favors. It gets you a lot of access. It gets you a lot of things you wouldn't have been afforded to have had you been just Joe Blow off the street. So it's kind of like, to me, when these artists complain about fame, it's kind of like winning the lottery and complaining about the taxes, as the great Paul Stanley once said. Whatever. We'll see a little bit more of this. Recent interview with Spain's Maiden Metal, Roger of the legendary British rockers Deep Purple said that he leads a very private life away from the group. The hoopla of being in a big band and touring has to be balanced, if you like, by family life. The 78-year-old musician explained, and the family have a hard enough time because I have to go away for such long periods of time, and they have to exist here without me, which is not easy. I have a wife and 2 children, young children now. He's 78 years old, and he's got young children. It's necessary for me not to be known as famous. I don't like fame. People say to me, young musicians, hey, how do you get famous? It's the wrong question, Roger noted. What you really need to ask is, how do you be happy? People who want to be famous, I don't know why, because it's an imposition. It takes away your life, and I'm so very happy to keep my life as private as possible. Right, okay. But again, life on the road definitely, couldn't be easy being away from your family and your friends and your loved ones and the grueling schedule and the smelly tour buses and the airports. And I get all that. But in the meantime, you're leaving your family behind, well taken care of. You're getting to do something you love. How many of us can say that about our job? And again, playing devil's advocate, I wish these people would step back and say, okay, what if I never did this? What if I instead was breaking my back in excruciating heat, pouring concrete or roofing or pushing a broom around as a custodian and cleaning out toilets after piggish people? I mean, for minimum wage or slightly above minimum, living paycheck to paycheck, I kind of don't have any sympathy for the famous who think it's an inconvenience to be famous, all the while reaping all the benefits of fame and all that came with it, especially the money aspect. So, whatever. I'm pretty sure any of these people, if they could go back in time and do it over again, wouldn't change a thing, right? There's no way they would give up what they have, being a name, being known to the world, as far as billions of the rest of us who, when we die tomorrow, other than our immediate circle, no one will even know, right? So you've left an impact on the planet. Be thankful and just, try to be as private as you want, but stop complaining, really. Okay, Wasp, Blackie Lawless explains why he performed while seated at Sweden Rock Festival. Interview with Canada's Metal Voice. Blackie was asked for an update on his health 10 months after he underwent a successful surgery to treat 2 herniated discs and a broken vertebrae. How the hell did he pull that off? Lawless said, when people say, how's your health? That makes it sound to me like you had an illness or something like that. And maybe it's my sports background, because for me, injuries are different. What I've been dealing with is injuries, but it's coming along. He continued, what I had was pretty serious. And when it first started last year, they told me that if we didn't stop, we were on tour in Europe. And I had a chiropractor come into one of those shows to do an adjustment on me, and we were in Madrid. But the night before, we had been in Barcelona. I did what I thought was the best show for the whole tour at that point, and I was doing well. This guy comes in, doesn't speak any English, and this kid is strong as a gorilla. And he tried to, through an interpreter, explain to me what we wanted to do. The kid got a hold of me and tweaked me, and I felt it immediately when he did it. And yeah, literally twisted my upper torso. We find out later he ruptured a disc in my back. And I heard one of those before, dealing with nerve pain and things like that, but I've never experienced it. And until you've experienced nerve pain, you can't imagine what it feels like. I mean, it's constantly on 10 and you can't stop it. So we leave Spain and go to Berlin. Unfortunately, we had some contacts there who were able to get in to see doctors from German Olympic team. You just can't get much better than that. Lawless added, and so they did a series of tests on me and did MRIs and things like that. They came back and said, you've got extensive damage. If you don't stop this tour, it's going to get worse. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what are we talking about? How much worse can it get? And also I told him, I says, basically what I need you to do for me is to get me through this. What can you do for me that'll help me get along? So over a series of 5 weeks, we do 8 epidurals, which for those that don't know what that is, they inject a needle into your spinal cord, ouch, and basically try to put anti-inflammatory medication in there to get you through it. But 8 is an extreme amount. I mean, it's a lot. Usually the average person might get 1 or 2 of those, but that's a lot. But what happened is, yes, it was helping me get through, but now I have one of those discs that no longer functioning the way it should. Now, the vertebrae started to rub on each other. It creates a chain reaction where a second disc gets ruptured and one of the vertebrae cracks because the bone rubbing on bone. Okay, so long story longer, I'm assuming. Yeah, so that's probably why he was taking a seat there. This is a long, in-depth article, and is what it is. Either you want to see your guys or you don't. If they got to be seated for something, I went to Sweet, the one of the versions of Sweet that had Priest in it, Steve Priest, and he had broken his leg or something, and he did the whole set sitting down, obviously before he passed, rest in peace. And it is what it is. He was still entertaining. It's that or, take a rain check and hope they can schedule a time to get back to your town. I guess he did what he thought he had to do, toughed it out, put his health on the line there, so good for Blackie. The Used announces fall 2024 tour with plain white tees and Rayu. Never heard of any of this, but in case anybody likes these bands, we're looking at starting September 21st, Little Rock, Arkansas, Kansas City, Missouri, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Birmingham, Alabama, Charlotte, North Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Tampa, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, St. Augustine, Florida, and New Orleans, Louisiana for the Used. Okay, what do we got here? AC/DC limited edition 50th anniversary watch released by Swiss luxury watchmaker Frank Muller, and they'll only cost you $25,000. Okay, unauthorized Iron Maiden book Hallowed Be Thy Name, due in October. Unauthorized by who? Management, Bruce Dickinson. I never understood that shit. Foreigner and Styx announced their tour companion album, Renegade and Jukebox Heroes. What the hell's going on here? Cold as Ice, Too Much Time on My Hands, Jukebox Hero, Renegade, and more. Nothing sounds more like the soundtrack of the summer than Styx and Foreigner's biggest hits. Recently announced as inductees of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Foreigner hits the road in June, co-headlining the Renegades and Jukebox Heroes trek with Styx and special guest John Waite. Adding to the excitement, Styx and Foreigner have announced Renegade and Jukebox Heroes, a very special limited edition companion album available exclusively at tour stops starting at today's tour in Grand Rapids, Michigan, at the Van Andel Arena and at select retail on July 12th. So there you go. Just 1,000 copies of the picture disc and only 5,000 individual numbered copies of the silver edition are available. With many tour dates already selling out, demand is sure to be high. When they are gone for good. A 13-track CD featuring all three artists and including the vinyl tracks is also available. The songs are available on all digital outlets. Picture disc will be available on Foreigners and Styx's websites, and the silver edition will be available on Amazon July 12th. So there you go. Instant collector's item for Styx, Foreigner, and it sounds like some John Waite will be on there. So there you go. Judas Priest, we covered that. John 5 releases a new song, A Hollywood Story. Announces a September-October 2024 tour. So Motley must be taking a break for the rest of the year. Ginger announces fall 2024 American tour with Hannibal and Born of Orisis. Never heard of any of these three. Starting September 20th, Sayreville, New Jersey, Brooklyn, New York, Pittsburgh, PA, Toronto, Ontario, Montreal, Quebec, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Louisville, Kentucky, Charlotte, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Lake Buena Vista, Florida, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, North Myrtle Beach, that is, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Denver, Colorado, Las Vegas, Nevada, San Bernardino, California, and Sacramento, California finishes it off on August 13. Alice Cooper launches 2024 presidential campaign. I'm a troubled man for troubled times. Okay. Gearing up for 2024 presidential election in the only way he knows how, by running for president. Something he has done satirically every 4 years since releasing the song Elected back in 1972. I did not know that. The godfather of shock rock has also released a new campaign video in which he touts his qualifications thusly. Well, I'm Alice Cooper, and I'm a troubled man for troubled times. I have absolutely no idea what to do, so I should fit right in. Oh, Alice. Okay, so got some comedy coming out of Alice Cooper. Apocalyptica announces February-March 25th North American tour with Nita Strauss. So let's go starting Feb 6. Jesus, why is this so late? Was this 2025? Yeah, 2025. Okay, gotcha. So Feb 6 of 2025, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, PA, Boston, Massachusetts, New York, Montreal, Quebec, Toronto, Ontario, Cincinnati, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Edmonton, Alberta, Calgary, Alberta, Vancouver, British Columbia, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, San Francisco, California, Los Angeles, California, Phoenix, Arizona, Denver, Colorado, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, ending it on March 8 of 2025. So there you go. Miles Kennedy announces third solo album, The Art of Letting Go, a European and North American tour. And just for my own knowledge, since I don't know who this is, Alter Bridge. Okay. Known for his work with rockers, Alter Bridge and Slash. Okay. Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. All right. Well, good on him. Carrot Top. I don't know why his hair is red here. Marty Friedman says his upcoming autobiography will include things that he has never said and couldn't say in the media. There we go. We're looking at all the dirty laundry. With your dirty laundry. Tesla's Brian Wheat just finished his 18th Big Mac of the day. Jesus, man alive. Picks Metallica, Master of Puppets, Override the Lightning, and explains why. I really couldn't judge, not being a Metallica fan myself, so if you're interested, you can go ahead and research that. Doug Aldrich recalls getting kind of booted out of Ronnie James Dio's house by the legendary singer. He was moody. Everybody thought he was this subdued, nice guy, and he was, but man, I've seen some stories of this guy getting unhinged, including on some interviewers and stuff. So, Anthrax jams instrumental version of Rats Round and Round. Stephen Pearcy offers to sing. Okay, well, okay. Slipknot's Eloy Casagranada shares eyeless drum cam video. All right. Phil Demmel says his reasons for leaving Machine Head were 99% personal, as they usually are. Gene Simmons joins Chevy Metal on stage at California Club to perform Kiss's Deuce. Jesus Christ, I am having a problem talking tonight. Let's see. Kiss bassist, vocalist Gene Simmons joined Chevy Metal. That's kind of cool. On stage last night, Sunday, June the 9th, at the Canyon Club in Agoura Hills, California, to perform Kiss's classic Deuce. Fan-filmed video of Gene's appearance can be seen below. Also performing with Chevy Metal at last night's show, which was a very special charity event benefiting the Rock and Roll Rescue Dog Shelter Adoption Service. What a fabulous cause. Was Shane Hawkins, the son of late Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins. So let's cue this up here and see how we sound. What do we got here? Deuce. Yeah. Click on it. I'm churning. One more time.
We have one more guest coming up. Yeah! And then we're still going to play. I grew up listening to this band, and that's the reason why I'm on stage, is because of Kiss. And now I'm playing with Judas Simmons, and it brings here.
Okay, so there we have it. Sound quality is not the greatest. The volume is extremely low, but there you got it. Gene still got it and joins Chevy Metal for Deuce for a charity event. All right. Sammy Hagar's 77th birthday bash expands to Cabo and Las Vegas in 2024. Cabo, sorry, not Cobo. I'm thinking Cobo Hall. Cabo and Las Vegas. Metallica's Kirk Hammett, Judas Priest are the architects of what we know as heavy metal today, and amen for that. I think this gets overlooked tremendously with all the Black Sabbath talk and Led Zeppelin. Much more kind of a hard rock. To me, the truest form of heavy metal was created by Judas Priest. That's just one fat man's opinion. Watch Apocalyptica, Nightwish, Tomas Holopainen, Jesus Christ, names his favorite rock metal song of all time. Well, that should be interesting. I've recently gotten into Nightwish. They're pretty damn good. He responded, One by Metallica. Such a brilliant composition and lyric and music video. The video was cool as hell. And that was around the time that I found metal altogether, so it brings back a lot of memories. Okay, so there you go. Tomas labels One by Metallica as his favorite rock metal song of all time. Okay, so I think we're about done here. Just been a while since I put a news video out because it's been kind of stale. Not that this was extremely interesting, but I figured I'd get something out for you all. And also stay tuned. I will be launching on this channel a new podcast series called Strange Ways, which is 99% Kiss. And, of course, if there's any other things major to talk about, we'll slide that in there as far as other bands go. But watch for that shortly, and until next time, thanks for watching.